Hello and welcome to the Timeslot. There's an old English saying that he had a face that only a mother could love. Certainly the look on some independent watches can be challenging, but while my face may be equally challenging, the dial on this week's watch, the Gronefeld 1 Hertz, most definitely is not. Tim and Bart Gronefeld are third generation watchmakers from Oldenzaal in eastern Netherlands, right up against the modern German border. The brothers' workshop is based in the same building where their grandfather began as a watchmaker in 1912. After trading in Switzerland, rather than working for themselves, they went to work at Renault Papy, now part of Audemars Piguet, during its most exciting period. There was a lack of watchmaking skills resulting from the quartz revolution, and this meant that they were able to work on an unprecedented range of watch technology. It was at Renault Papy that they started working on tourbillon. Indeed, the Gronefelds continued to work on tourbillon for many years after leaving Renault Papy, and they remain some of the greatest tourbillon constructors in the world. So it shouldn't be a big surprise to discover that the first watch to bear the Gronefeld name, launched in 2008, was a tourbillon. But it was the introduction of the 1 Hertz range in 2010 that really began to raise the profile of the business. Though it doesn't have a tourbillon, the 1 Hertz features an independent deadbeat seconds displayed on a large subdial. The keywords here are independent and deadbeat seconds. The deadbeat seconds is a very old complication, but it was made unfashionable by the quartz movement because nobody wanted to create a mechanical watch that looked like a quartz one. It's considered independent because the movement has 2 barrels and 2 drivetrains to separate the hours and minutes from the seconds. The phrase deadbeat seconds indicates that rather than the second hand sweeping around the dial, it ticks once per second. The first thing you notice about the watch is that large second subdial and that steady loud tick. There's something very reassuring about it, and I love it. It sounds something like this. This example was lent to me, and it's actually a unique piece. Originally, it was the Technic version of the watch with a titanium case, but an off-white dial and blue hands has been added, and I think that the combination is very successful. From a distance, the dial looks like it's just a plain off-white, but close up it actually has a slight sparkle. It's made from sterling silver and then blasted with bronze particles to give it a frosted finish. In addition to the seconds, there are 3 other subdials: a power reserve at the 10 o'clock position, the hours and minutes at 1 o'clock, and an indicator hand at 3 o'clock marked W and S. This last one is actually the control for the operation of the stem. Pushing it switches its operation from W wind to S set to change the time. The crown itself is marked with a large G and is cut into to give it a little bit of grip. The push is very positive and has a great action. A nice solution and a little bit neater than the standard pull crown. A sapphire back is a pretty standard thing these days, but rarely will you get to see as beautiful a movement as this through one. The major components are mounted on finger bridges made from stainless steel and attached peripherally. They've all been hand beveled and highly polished with the surface deeply cut into. The inner surface of the bridges have been microblasted to give a grey matte finish, and the movement has an open centre section. If you look carefully, you can see the seconds wheel deep within the movement. After having worn it for a week, reactions have been unanimous. This is a great looking watch. The titanium case makes it pretty light, and the low profile makes it very easy to wear. If you thought that only Switzerland was creating amazing watches, the Gronefeld brothers and the 1 Hertz should dispel that opinion. This is the Timeslot. I'm Ian Ellery.